For them, it's just uncomfortable. Like in the United States, corruption is just an uncomfortable issue. For us, it's about life and death. For people in Somalia and Ethiopia, it's about life and death, nothing else. There are so many faces of corruption, and it's a very dynamic concept. I'm not going to try to explain in terms of that. There's no time for analyzing this beast or virus. But just to briefly say about what is corruption, it's a concept. Yeah, you can come up with many different definitions about corruption. And I like to look at corruption from a systemic point of view. It's also a condition, like a disease. Yeah, like cancer or HIV/AIDS or a bacteria or a virus. We inherit it actually. Yeah, it's not because nothing to do with religion. Then it's a manifestation. You can try to identify conflict of interest, bribery. You get about 50 different shades of corruption in terms of different manifestations. But it doesn't help you a lot because in the end it confuses you more about what it actually is. And then it's a contributor. It contributes to poverty, for example. It contributes to inequality, as the previous presenter indicated. And it's got an impact as well. Yeah, it's got an impact on other big problems like poverty, and the impact, and it creates its own condition, it creates its own environment because it's dynamic. It is not a linear approach. It's not 1 + 1. It cannot be analyzed, it cannot be predicted, it cannot be managed. Sorry to disappoint you in terms of that, Elizabeth. It's about attacking the wholeness of society, basically. I'm not going to spend time on academic stuff now. So my methodology basically was looking at 16 different indices, and I've tried to look and put that into the drivers of development, my perspective that I've inherited from somebody else, Akov and Karadzidaki, and that's the way I'm going to look at it. And I've also looked at 4 other African-based perception studies about corruption. So, the 5 drivers of development that I haven't indicated yet, because I don't have time for that. I want to come to the nitty-gritty is economics is one of the drivers of development. Politics, influence, governance, another driver. And thing is approved in Namibia. Now that is a serious problem. Afrobarometer survey of 2013, executed in 35 countries. Namibia rated 6 out of 52. But as I've said previously, we cannot compare ourselves with Africa. The time is past. We must compare ourselves with the best. Category with the largest deterioration since 2009. Who is it? The public service. Thank you, the public service. Perception indices productions. 16 internationally correlated positively with 2 African-funded Afrobarometer survey and low Ibrahim index. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to show you all these reductions that you just have to trust me on this. No. Trust is also a proxy for corruption, you know. And then the Namibian Anti-Corruption Survey and the Namibian Institute for Democracy can interpret, their findings can be interpreted as additional explanations for some of the correlations. Obviously not all of them, because they measure different things. The survey was about different things, different variables. Possible to conclude that due to correlation is indicated additional explanation of trends, findings can be considered as reasonably reliable and valid. To be honest, yeah, I have to be honest as well. Now this is a very interesting one just about Namibia. Since 1998, Transparency International have rated Namibia in terms of good governance. Yeah, and there are a lot of problems with perception studies. I mean, it's subjective. You don't always know what is the reality on the ground. Yeah, and people protect themselves and they are not completely honest because you are afraid that something will come out and it will haunt you and you'll be intimidated and whatever. But what's interesting since 1998, there is overall a deterioration. Rating out of 10, 5.3 started in 1998, 2013, 4.9. But what's very, very positive is that you see, since 2004, there's a slight improvement. Yeah, so we seems to improve very slowly, but that's very good. I'm very positive about that at least. And there are many explanations for this big drop. Some of them were the Social Security Commission first corruption case, the National Housing Enterprise corruption case, the OEC and so on. But this trend, that's important. That's what we need to look at. Yeah? Average previous 17 years, 4.7. Average previous 17 years, and the average previous 10 years, 4.5. So if we were a student, that's what government officials even told me, who I've spoken to in America. And then the second driver is social activism. Yeah, creating the social drive or social capital, what the previous presenter is. Absolutely very, very important driver. And then we should not address the symptoms. It doesn't help increase the police force. We create more laws and legislation. That won't help. We must look at it from a more holistic perspective. Then we must look at what obstructions can be removed, like what programs, like subsidy programs, some of them we can basically remove, and it will remove the whole problem of corruption in a specific unit. But I know it's not always possible. And we must look at the places where the highest leverage is, like procurement, like finance, tax officers, boards, public works. Those are the places we need to focus and start on in the public service, create winning strategies there, and then expand it to the rest of the public service. And we must increase the costs and the risks of corruption, yeah, not just, and we must penalize, and we must also reward people for coming forward, because it's a risk to blow the whistle. Yeah, you are intimidated. In the past, I've invited a guest speaker, and she cancelled at the last moment. It was some years ago, because of corruption in a public institution which everybody knows about. She was not prepared to come. Yeah, so we must create not just a whistleblower protection legislation in Namibia. People must be rewarded like in America. When you come forward and you, as a result of your evidence that you provided, that some of those money is being recovered, you must receive an incentive. Because corruption is not an ethical problem only. It's an economic problem, because it's linked to development. And then we have very good leaders, yeah, that we can look at and see what they have done right. And this last one, Jose Mojica of Uruguay, you can Google that guy and see how does he live, yeah, and the contribution he makes to society. Completely transformational, inspirational leader. We need people like that. The limitations, there are many limitations. I mean, you can ask why corruption from a systemic point of view, not from a historical point of view, why specific perceptions. There are many limitations.